Okay, welcome everyone. We are so excited to have you here, whether you're here live with us tonight or whether someone gave you this recording because you guys started to have this conversation. We're very, very blessed to have you here to take this time to lean in, to learn, and to be inspired in your journey. So my name is Kelly Brown. I have been a coach for 6 years. This July 1st is my coach anniversary. And that is also when I started my journey. And I have to tell you that as kind of the founder of this Team Freedom family, we call ourselves a family because that's the vibe we have. It is a tribe. There are multiple leaders that are here tonight. So I just got blessed to be the first one to say yes in this ripple. And what's cool tonight is you're going to hear a little bit about the company, Team Beachbody, that we partner with and our mission. But then you're also going to get the opportunity to listen to individual leaders on this team who are building a business that aligns with their purpose, that has fulfilled a calling in their life where they get to use their unique skills and gifts. For me personally, just a little bit about my journey and how I got started. 6 years ago, I was a mom of 5 at the time and feeling very lost. I had just moved to Ohio and been up here for about a year, and my husband had taken a job for a nonprofit. And although I had friends around me and I was a runner and I looked healthy and no one would have thought that I would struggle, I did. I was uncomfortable in my skin. I had a horrible relationship with food. I struggled so much with emotional eating. My husband, because he does nonprofit work and worked for retreats, he would travel a lot. And I remember weekends he would go that I would deliberately bake a pan of brownies, not to share them with my 5 children, to give them each one, and then to polish it off at night and just feel hatred at my body because I was in pain and I was mad that I did it. But I felt like I had no control. So I had been following a friend for a while who had been sharing about this program she was in at home, and she got results. And I thought to myself, well, that won't work, but I have nothing else to lose. So my husband and I purchased the program Insanity off the infomercial as a Christmas gift to each other. We did the workout, the first fit test. I puked. He laughed. I didn't think it was going to work, but I kept trying anyway. And we finished the entire program. And the crazy part about it is I never told a soul I was doing it. And I never took a picture or a before and after. And so when I finished the program, I thought I failed. I can guarantee you that if you finish the program Insanity, you are not a failure. But it showed that the real problem that I had wasn't just with food and the scale, it was a mindset thing. And so a few months later, when that same person posted about a short group that she was running, like a clean week, I decided to give it a try, to try this shake that she tried to talk to me about, to see if it would work. And what I found was an opportunity to connect with people in my home that encouraged me and helped me to grow. 6 years later, now I'm blessed to be a mom of many. And I've gone through pregnancies and just experienced the ups and downs of what my body can do with the new light of that. I eat to fuel my body, I exercise to honor my body, and I lean into a community to help others do the same. And so the mission of this team is we embrace freedom in our own journey. We share the truth of our story through social media, through talking to people, just through being a positive light in the world. And then through living that, we inspire hope in our home, and that ripples out. And so here tonight, you've been invited because we want you to be a part of this mission. Your coach saw something in you that is a light. She saw unique ingredients to what you could bring to this recipe. She saw unique skills, whether that's your light and encouragement or your desire for change and growth. We're not fitness experts, thankfully, because that would not be one of my qualifications, but we're people who are learning to fall in love with the gift that our body is and helping others do the same. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to start off because we do work and partner with an amazing company, Team Beachbody, and they provided a short video we're going to watch together that kind of explains how the opportunity started, why this company is amazing, and the perks of being a coach. Once the video is finished, though, then I'm going to take a moment to turn that off and interview 3 coaches that are leaders on our team, and they're going to share a little bit of their story, kind of some common objections we've all had, and maybe put them to ease for you, and how this has changed their lives. And then I'll close by reviewing a few things of how you could get started, the different options, and kind of give you some things to think about so that you can reach out to your coach after this. I'm sure they will also reach out to you and have a conversation to see what this could be in your life. So I just asked you sit back and relax and enjoy our time together. I'm not tech savvy, but we did test this out, so this should work, hopefully, as I share my screen. So if someone can give me a thumbs up. Okay. This is working.
Beachbody, creator of the hottest and most respected fitness products in the world, now has an opportunity for you to join us by becoming a Team Beachbody coach. As a coach, you'll be given the opportunity to earn income, sharing the best fitness program and nutritional supplements on the market today.
Instead of doing the obvious thing, selling our hit infomercial products through retail stores, yes, a handful of our customers become independent distributors. We call them coaches. They're not fitness or nutrition experts. They're people who simply love the product and love sharing them with people because they actually work.
As a Team Beachbody coach, you're partnering with a company that stands above all others with this unique opportunity. And because we need your help to help other people, there's no better time to get involved as a Team Beachbody coach than right now. There's a massive health crisis throughout North America. Just in the United States, 1 out of every 3 adult Americans, 1 out of every 6 children are considered overweight or obese. This means more than 100 million people are unhealthy.
Started seeing people that I was working with results. It was at that moment that I knew that this was what I was doing.
Beachbody CEO Carl Geiger, including John Hogan, began combating the health crisis in 1998 by conceiving a simple solution to this massive problem: sell top-notch fitness products and provide unprecedented support and motivation to help people get fit. The phenomenal success of Beachbody is undeniable. When John and Carl examined that success, they realized that a large part was due to satisfied customers sharing their fitness success and passion for Beachbody with those closest to them, as well as on the Beachbody message boards. This natural interaction between customers was recognized by Carl and John and led them to develop a compensation plan where Beachbody would begin paying people for what they were already doing for years, sharing Beachbody products. Thus, the Team Beachbody coach opportunity was launched.
In the team that verify we able to invent and able to save money, have money in a savings account, and that feels really good.
Decide, commit, succeed. The Beachbody mantra is not some snappy cereal box slogan. We guarantee that when a customer decides to commit to a Beachbody fitness program, they will succeed. But we've learned that success doesn't just come from buying a fitness program. Nutrition plays a critical role, and Beachbody's ultra premium health shake, Shakeology, has become one of the best-selling products in the history of the company because of our Team Beachbody coaches.
Shakeology is what we call a market disruptor because while competitors have come up with Me Too energy drinks and antioxidant juices, we've created the absolute highest quality weight loss and health shake in the market today, period. The absolute best.
And now you have the power to customize your Shakeology, our line of gluten-free and healthier results. And with our Beachbody performance supplements, you can push yourself harder and last longer, which means you get better results from your workouts faster. The opportunity to share products that you love and earn money while doing so is something we're proud of at Beachbody. This is how it works. First, you earn a 25% commission on retail sales. It's just that simple. For example, if you have 3 Shakeology sales a month, you would earn enough to pay for your daily dose of dense nutrition. You can also earn an even higher commission when you sell our exclusive Team Beachbody Challenge Pack, which is a one-stop solution for customers. Challenge Pack includes a fitness program of your choice, 30-day supply of Shakeology, and a membership to Beachbody On Demand, where you can stream hundreds of world-class Beachbody workouts from your computer, smartphone, or tablet. And many of our successful coaches use Beachbody challenge groups to engage their customers and coaches by providing support and accountability to help them achieve their optimal fitness results. And if you choose those team coaches, we have a lucrative bonus program that lets you earn from your whole team productivity. And the rewards don't stop. We also created a Beachbody Challenge contest. Coaches and their customers can submit their success stories and have the opportunity to take part in cash and prizes. here's some good news to make it easy for you. We provide every coach with a website and an online office where you can access sales and marketing tools, as well as a library of training and personal development resources. Plus, we handle all the product fulfillment and customer service for you. All you need to do is direct customers to your website. And when they make a purchase through you, you earn a generous 5% commission. And all your income is paid weekly. Many coaches earn enough to make a car payment or enjoy a vacation. Some earn enough to cover day jobs. And a few top coaches even earn more than $1 million a year. Beachbody has the most popular fitness programs in the world. Programs like P90X, Insanity, 21 Day Fix, and Plyo, just to name a few. There are many reasons in addition to the extra income to becoming a Team Beachbody coach. To get fit and healthy, to get great discounts on Beachbody products, to earn travel and incentive trips to some great vacation destination, or even to work out with your favorite Beachbody celebrity trainer. But most importantly, time and freedom to do what you want to do most. Think about your own situation. Is what you're doing now going to give you the lifestyle that you and your family deserve?
You want to go to your kids' baseball games, soccer games, graduation recitals, be there for them, you can do that. It's up to you.
You can become the CEO of your own business, what we call an independent Team Beachbody coach. We're going to make sure that everything you need to be successful, provide you an amazing opportunity to achieve all your financial dreams. Now the decision to go forward is yours. Thank you for your time. I look forward to working with you. Let's get started.
So something that's really cool about watching that video, and that's like the newest kind of release. We don't normally show a video like that, but something we had talked about when we were preparing for tonight was that we wanted you to know that the company that that backs us in our mission. I love that it's a partnership. And what's neat about watching this video is the last guy who talked, not Carl Deichler, that's the CEO, but the guy before that, Robert Hutchins. He is a founding coach, but he's a part of our team's network, and I was able to participate in training calls with him just this year. Like, there are coaches that have been around since the whole company started in our network of coaches, and they reach down to those that want to learn and share. And I was inspired by him. He's a very faith-filled man who talked about value and legacy and learning. And so the beauty of this opportunity is not only do you get to help people through the products and programs that you love, and we'll talk a little more about that at the end, but it really is like a family. I mean, Tony Horton, who's in P90X, like, I was able to meet him. The Beachbody, a lot of the videos you saw people working out together is our summit, which is going to be in Indianapolis, and a handful of us went last year, and a group of us are going this year, next month. You know, we get to work out with the trainers and meet the trainers and get training from these coaches and lean in with one another. And it is fun, but it's also just fulfilling to get to see and see the human side of these trainers that you see on your screen, and see that they're, you know, just motivational, and they really have a heart and a desire to help. And it's not, you know, just this commercial. It becomes more of a real person and a real presence. And so it was neat to see that, because the joke one time, Sarah Kroger's on here, she went on a trip with me it was a cruise 3 years ago that we earned. And I was like, oh, that's Brigitte Linford. Oh, and she's like, how do you know those people? And it's because these were coaches, even though they're very successful, who spoke on calls that I was on, because it's like they have the humility and the leadership to lean down. They don't want you to be like, oh, I've made it, figure it out. There's almost, you have to put a limit on how much you participate in training, because you could do it all day, because so many people are so generous with their time. And so it's kind of cool to watch a corporate video, but say, I got to meet one of those people because they are a part of our team family. And I just love how it partners so much with the mission we have as individuals in this team. So I'm going to go ahead and start interviewing some of our leaders to share a little bit. Tonight, we're going to start with Sarah, if you want to mute yourself. And if you guys, as we're talking, have any questions, just type them in the chat, and then we can come back at the end and answer the questions for you. So, Sarah, are you unmuted?
I am.
All right. So let's go ahead and start and tell a little bit about you and your story of how you got started.
So I am Sarah Kroger. I have 6 kids. You will hear someone scream their head off in the background at some point. I guarantee it, because this is real life. I started coaching. I signed up as a coach when I was pregnant with my 5th kid. But I only, I was doing it for the discount, and I was doing it for the community, and I didn't really jump into the business opportunity right out the gate. I had this plan that I was going to have this Biggest Loser transformation one summer when my husband was traveling a lot for work, and then I found out that I was pregnant, and that changed my goals a little bit. But I'm pretty excited because just recently I hit a 50-pound weight loss goal over the course, including 2 pregnancies too. So it went up and down a little bit over the last couple of years. But in the last year, I'd say I've really dug in and worked on the business side of it, and worked on being consistent and treating it like a business versus just a fun group of people to hang out with, which, don't get me wrong, it is a fun group of people to hang out with. And I have made some of my best friends and some people who have really impacted the culture of my family through this. But I realized that I was missing the next level of opportunity and what I could do if I really was working it as a business versus just real life fun hangout opportunity. Well, I'm glad it didn't break. Little wins, friends. We count all those little wins.
It's all good. It's all good. So as a mom who homesteads and homeschools and has 6 kids, a common question we get from people of all walks of life and all parts of their journey is how do you find the time to build a business with this? So can you speak to that need?
Absolutely. I'll tell you, I run into that a lot. And I will tell you again, as a mom of 6, I think any number of kids is hard. And there's no oh, well, you only have 2 kids. That's super easy. Frankly, I will tell you, for me, 2 kids was the hardest number of kids to have. I think having 6 kids in a lot of ways is easier than that, but that's a different team call. But in the midst of all of that, honestly, it started with what was important to me, because all of us have the same number of hours in the day, and we all fill them differently. And so, yeah, I have to decide how I'm going to structure my day a little bit differently than some of you, because I have to go milk my goats, and I have to teach my kids, and I have to still do my workout and still plan my meals and cook for 1 million people and all of that. But what I have found, and I think this is true for anything, I am an epic procrastinator. And if there was a place where someone could get paid for that, I would probably be a millionaire. But I have found that 2 things are true in working this business. One, it's about my priorities. It's about what's important to me. And instead of viewing taking care of myself as something else to put on my plate, I decided to make it the plate. I decided to make caring for myself the plate on which everything else sat. So if you think about, you hear the oldest cliche in the book is, being on the airplane where you're supposed to secure your own oxygen mask. I will tell you, I look at it from a pitcher of water. And that pitcher of water is my capacity for serving the people around me. And if I put 1 drop of water in and pour it right back out, and then 1 drop in and then pour it right back out, then I always have an empty pitcher. But if I am caring for myself and I am making, can you turn that water off for a second, please? Thank you. I'm shouting over the water, but she's doing dishes, so I can't complain. Speaking of water, if I pour into my pitcher, and my pitcher fills up and starts to overflow and spill over, then everyone around me gets served and my pitcher is full. And so I really had to take this business opportunity and this opportunity to serve other people. I love to teach. I love to share what I'm learning. And I love to really dig in and solve problems with other people. And I get to do that in my family, but I get to do it on an even bigger scale as a coach. And it all came down to, instead of it being another thing on my plate, making it my plate. But the second thing that really I've thought a lot about lately, and it goes back to that procrastination bit, I wrote some of my best papers in college in my busiest seasons. when I felt like I had the least amount of time, because I focused on it. And I really find that when I have a ton of time, I can waste time like nobody's business. But when I'm really pressed for time, so this week, our homeschooling world was rocked because we had day camp and we had to be somewhere on time like 3 days in a row. And that was a real like big effort for us. But I got so much done because I was forced to prioritize my time, and really I couldn't screw around. I couldn't just let come what may. And so from a time perspective, I find that when I do have a lot going on in a particular day, I'm so much more efficient and I can get a lot of work done. I really, at this point in my business, and I told you like I had dug in and I'm trying to grow a business and working it to make an income versus Kelly's going to talk a little bit more about the different types of coaching, but instead of being in it for the discount or as a hobby, as I was previously, I'm building a business right now, and I still only work about 2 hours a day. And if I really focus on what I need to do and I have my list and I'm efficient with my time, I can get everything done in that amount. And it's kind of good for my kids to have to, you know, make their own snack every once in a while and that kind of stuff. Like it serves our family well in this season.
That's awesome. I love that. And yeah, we'll talk a little more about that because I think it's like you get to choose how much time, but it's so true when you don't have the time, like free time, you do really get laser focused for sure.
I can spend hours doing this because I love to talk to people and I love to be in my challenge group and I love to share videos with them and I could spend hours a day doing it. And sometimes I do if I have that kind of time, but a lot of times I don't, and I have to be efficient.
Yeah, for sure. So can you tell us a little bit about how the opportunity has made an impact on you emotionally, physically, financially?
Sure. Physically, I just shared with you, I mean, I hit the 50-pound loss mark, which is pretty amazing. And the thing that has been true for me is that it broke this yo-yo cycle of mine because I finally learned how to put it all together, because I would eat really well and lose weight, but not move my body and not gain any strength. Or I would like try to out exercise eating whatever I wanted, and that doesn't work. But it kind of put it put it all together for me. And so the only time my weight has really gone up since I started this was when I was pregnant. I mean, I've been pregnant twice since I started. So those times, obviously my weight has gone up and then come back down after I was pregnant. If I hadn't been in that situation, like if you remove the pregnancies from my journey, statistically, my weight has gone down and stayed down. I'm not going up and down anymore. And that's had a really, like the mindset shift that I've had has been, I mean, it's kind of hard to measure because I don't even feel like the same person anymore that I used to be. And it's interesting when I talk to people who I was friends with in high school, and now I'm 41 and I have 6 kids, and it's been a long time since I was in high school. But with social media, some of those people kind of cycle back into your life, and it is interesting to get to know them all over again because we're just in a completely different frame of mind about how I think about myself, how I think about my relationships with my kids. This has affected my marriage because it gives us a new way of looking at problems. One of the things that some of our mentors have talked to us about and have taught us as us coaches on this team is that, you know, when you have a problem, rather than complaining about it or trying to have someone else solve it, you need to come at it with 3 solutions and then let's work at this together. And that's impacted the way that I handle my kids. It's impacted the way that I handle my marriage. It's not an exaggeration to say that this journey and this business has shined a light in every corner of my life. I can't think of a way. I mean, it's even helped me in dealing with as I grow up and become I feel like I'm finally a legit adult. I don't know how good I am at it, but I'm like, I can't deny anymore that I'm a legit grown up anymore. But even in dealing with difficult boundaries of family, you know, I love my family, but there's ways that we have grown and changed separate from them. And this has helped me with how to navigate that, which is crazy. Like, who would have thought that like doing workouts and losing weight would help me manage my relationship with my parents? But it has, because this whole concept of who I am and what's important to me and being excited about that and the way that I view problems now, it's completely changed.
That's awesome. And then I love how you've been making this shift even with the business side of things too. Like watching Sarah in the last year kind of discover how this, but then that's the beauty of it. It's like a lot of us stumbled across this more as like to level up our fitness and save a little bit and maybe help a few people. But then stepping into a bigger mission with her team has been really cool to see.
Oh, and that's, you asked me too, the financial piece. I don't want to not say that because it's been a pretty significant thing for us. As my husband had a job change and he immediately, without warning, lost $700 a month. And I've been able to make that up and then some with my business. So I cover my Shakeology and all of my, my Beachbody on Demand and my Shakeology and our Daily Sunshine and all that kind of stuff. And I've been able to cover that gap in our family business. But I also, Kelly mentioned we have a homestead. So we have goats and chickens. Right now we have all the birds, turkeys and ducks and all that kind of stuff too. And with my business, I have been able to help with the purchase of animals and help with the purchase of feed and those kinds of things so that I can use my business to fill in the holes in our gap, like the holes in our family budget, but also expand our homestead without having to, squeeze more blood from a turnip.
Yeah, no, I love that. I'm glad you shared it because I think that it's important for people to see, like, you can insert what this could be. What's that hole in your budget or that need you have? So thank you so much. It's been fun doing business. Sarah and I were book club friends back in the day, but I would definitely say that coaching has leveled everything up in good ways for sure. All right, we're going to move to Elizabeth. Elizabeth is amazing and about to have another baby soon. You will soon find out our team procreates kind of with reckless abandonment. We had 12 babies born last year and we're having another 12 this year born, I think, onto the team, which is amazing. But she's going to talk a little bit about social media. But before that, can you share a little bit about how you got started and how this has made an impact?
Yes. So the way I got started with Beachbody in general is I actually followed my coach, Kelly, for 2 years, from like the very beginning of when she started doing her Beachbody coaching stuff. And I didn't like or comment on anything that she had ever posted. And honestly, I rolled my eyes when I saw like all of the inspirational stuff because I did not have any of that in my news feed. A lot of the stuff was just like people complaining about college, and, just typical early 20s kind of stuff. But I still just kept on being drawn back to watching her journey and watching her do everything that she was doing with having 5 kids, with having a busy husband who was, a principal and like working on the weekends. And I was just like, how is she doing this? And I can't get myself to go to the gym as a college student who has like an unlimited amount of time to watch Netflix. So because of her example, I bought 21 Day Fix off of the infomercial. And I did the 3-month payment plan for the $60 set that it came in, because I was poor and that's all I thought that I could afford. And then I had really good success with that. I lost 12 pounds my first time doing 21 Day Fix. So I was like a believer in the products right away. But I still waited. It was about 6 months before I reached out to Kelly, who was running another group, because I realized that the part that I was missing was the community. Like I saw all of the awesome stuff that she posted, about, going on trips with people and meeting really awesome, positive, encouraging people. And I just felt like I didn't have that in my life. So again, 6 months later, after being married for 2 months, after graduating college, being graduated for about 3 months, I reached out to her randomly and I was like, I want to be in your group. And she was like, all right, come on in. And then I think 2 weeks later, I was like, all right, well, this community is the bomb, and this is exactly what I was missing. And it was just so supportive and encouraging, and really digging into the group and not just like sitting back and kind of watching, which is what I feel like we're kind of tempted to do when we first start doing this. But I really just like went all in, posted under the accountability post every chance I got, because I was just fueled by what I was getting back from people. Like, people were encouraging me, and I was just so excited that I finally found a group that I could connect with. So I think like 2 weeks after signing up with her, I signed up as a coach because I wanted to share the joy and freedom that I had found with as many people as I could. So I kind of a special case as a coach. I wanted to start it as a business, like right off the bat. It still took me a little while to get the hang of it. And kind of like Sarah, it's been about a year since I've been able to be consistent with the business aspect. But yeah, that's pretty much how I got started.
I love it. And I love it because that's the next question that we're going to ask you about, is social media. Because like Elizabeth is an introvert. And I remember, like, you meet people on social media, but then you get to meet them in person, and you get to really know who they are and their heart and their personality, and so as a person who's introverted, part of, what we do is we do share, but I think that there's this like false sense that we literally have to share every single aspect of our day, which we don't. So, and some might do that, but you don't have to. So if you could talk a little bit about how were you able to do social media with being an introvert, and a little bit about how, not letting it take up all your time, and the fear that we all have of like, what are other people thinking?
Yeah, so when I first started, I was definitely very nervous about posting on social media, because I grew up being told that I wasn't a good writer or a good speaker. I just kind of assumed that I would have like a cubicle desk kind of office space kind of deal when I got a big kid job. And then I ended up being a teacher, which whatever. And then, so I didn't feel like I had much to offer to people through my posts. So what I kind of did is I just leaned on Kelly a lot. I asked her, like, can you read over this post for me? Like, I'm really nervous to post this. I'm not sure if it's going to sound weird.
She's like one of the best writers on the whole team. Like, if you ever read her stuff, we're like, I need to go back and edit mine, because hers is really so good. So.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, but I really felt totally unqualified to do the posting aspect. I knew that I could share my love of these products with people, but I didn't know how I was going to be able to do that with social media. So personal development really helped me work through the doubts and insecurities that I was having, and really digging into the team and seeing that other people who had been doing this before me were also, that was still a struggle for them. But that they were just doing it, they were taking where they were at whatever stage in life they were, and they were just sharing it authentically and not trying to pretend like they were someone else, and not comparing themselves to other people on the team. Because really, like, I started to think about my posts as a mission, as part of my mission. And when I started to think about it as part of my mission, I was like, all right, I'm going to write this post today. And as uncomfortable as it makes me to share it, I know that it's going to help at least one person. It's going to either turn their day around, it's going to help them get to the gym, it's going to help them make a healthier decision. And that made it all worth it to me. And then not letting it take up all my time, that's been something that I have really worked through. So when I first started, I signed up my first week of teaching as a coach. So I was learning how to be a teacher, and how to be a coach at the same time. So I really just started kind of doing things in pockets of time. So like 15 minutes here and there, just making it work with the schedule that I had. And then when I was a new mom, I was able to, I didn't go back to teaching. I stay at home with my daughter now. And I would just use her nap time. And, you know, I wouldn't let it take away from the time that I had with her awake though. And then the past couple of months, while I've been chasing said toddler, it's been a lot harder because I really, since I have dug into this the past year or so, I really love it. Like Sarah said, like I genuinely love just like sharing this opportunity with people. And I could make it a 40-hour-a-week kind of job because I love it that much. But I love my family so much more. And I know that I don't want to give up my time with my daughter and this other baby and my husband to talk to people about Beachbody. So I have been very strict with myself. I've given myself an hour to get all my business work done during her nap time. And then like 15 to 30 minutes in the evenings to reply to messages. And then I'm off. I don't even know if that answered the question.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Because you like it doesn't have to be all day. Like you know, like it doesn't, and the beauty of social media now and how it's changed is one really good value added post that speaks your mission is sufficient, because the whole purpose of it is just to add value. So no, I love that you shared that, because it is something I think many of us would say, like, I could spend a lot of time doing this because I really enjoy it, but you don't have to spend 40 hours a week. It's like awesome that you can spend an hour and 15 minutes a day as a business builder, you know, with different goals. And we'll talk about that a little bit. That was perfect. So what, did you ever struggle with worrying about what people thought?
Absolutely.
I mean, ever like,
me and my sister are 18 months apart. So and she's older and, you know, I was always
someone that's like afraid of that, because I think we've all had that, but what?
Yeah. I think just what I said before about personal development, really digging into that, making sure that I was reading and listening to things that were going to remind me that my purpose might not be the same as someone else's, and that, or it might look like someone else's, but it's not the same mission. You know, I'm meant to reach out to people that they might not be called to, and they might be called to reach out to people that I'm not called to work with. So I think really just cutting, I mean, I'm not going to say it happened overnight, but I think, just really digging into my own mental, personal journey, just really helped with overcoming like what other people think about me, because it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I think you're right. Like, and that's why personal development is one of the vital behaviors our company talks about that you need to be a part of, is having that shift in your mind. Because we all, I mean, it's the two biggest fears people have are fear of judgment and like fear of being rejected. Like that's like the two, I think, cornerstone. So no, thank you. That's perfect. And I do think personal development, I think all of us would raise their hands. Like that's what helps us too, as we navigate it. So thank you so much. This was awesome. It was good to hear. Like, I feel like it's good that you can see too, for those of y'all listening, there's just different spectrums that we all bring to the table. Like we're all in different walks of life, but we gel together and we learn together. And so thank you so much for sharing. It's been cool watching you grow and step into your mission. So Megan, we're going to close with Megan, who's going to talk a little bit about the number one, I think, objection next to time that I hear most of all is, I'm not a salesperson. But before we get to that, could you share a little bit about how you got started?
Yes. So I'm Megan. I have two little boys. And My husband's a youth minister, so we don't roll in the dough over here. I've been a coach for 2 years, and like a lot of people you've been hearing from today, I would say I really started to dig in right after I had my second. I kind of had this like come to Jesus moment where I was like, okay, I'm going to do this or I'm not going to do this. And then he was born in March. And I think once I got my feet on the ground after he was born and figured out a little bit of postpartum, September, I was like, okay, we're doing this. So, but before all of that, I was living in Charlotte. My husband was working at our alma mater, not making much money at all. And I was nannying a really sweet family and bringing our almost 1-year-old son with me because I was supposed to be given an at-home position with my job I had right before I had him, and they revoked it. And so we had a new house, and we were just in a really stinky situation. But then, I found that nanny job and it was fine. And then I was teaching online, which was awful with a kid, with a toddler, a baby, a toddler. It was so hard. So we knew we wanted to expand our family, and that the kids I was nannying, they were getting older and they wouldn't need me forever. And nannying just wasn't going to be in the books for us forever. And I used to have an eating disorder and have gone through a lot of healing from that. And I've always had it on my heart to share my story with other people and allow that to inspire other people. And I've also had a heart for mission ministry and was really involved with Focus in college. So all those pieces kind of came together, and I was like, I could probably do something from home. My coach was doing coaching, and I knew her through friends, and I reached out to her and I said, what's it like owning your business from home and having a kid? She had just had her baby. And she said, come to this webinar just like this. And I heard all these people talk about how their lives were changed and they were able to make such a difference because of their husband's job. It wasn't what they wanted, and they were able to make a difference for their family, or they were able to heal even more in their disordered eating habits, or just so many things were aligning. And I was like, this is where all the pieces come together, where I don't have to teach anymore. I can be home with my babies no matter how many I have. And Jake can do whatever he's called to do, and I can take care of that. So, and share my story. It was like the perfect platform for that. So, I jumped in at that point.
It's been so cool. Like, so I got to know Megan when she first started, and then when she started to dive in, we have a group that we actually have as a team for coaches. If you do have the desire to build like a part-time or full-time income, it's a little more mentorship. And then, we have other options we'll talk about later, but getting to know her more has been really cool. We all work together sometimes on a call just like this. We'll log in and have to change diapers in the midst, or, do all other sorts of things in the midst.
I'll close back on my kid.
Real life. It's all good. So what would you say about someone who's afraid of the whole sales aspect of this? Because I love how you talked about how you have this desire for mission and to serve and to help. So if someone was like, this sounds really awesome, but I'm not good at sales, or I don't want people to like run for me to be one of those people who's, spams the world with the icky kind of stuff, what would you say?
Well, before I lived in Charlotte and nannied and taught online, I worked for AT&T as a sales rep in the store. The person who's like, oh, you need tech help? Let me just sell you 1,800 phones. And that was an icky sales job. That was 100% an icky sales job. There were metrics I had to meet. I had to get people to do things that they didn't want to do in order to keep my job. This is not like that at all. There is so much freedom in this. You truly are your own CEO without all of the how the heck am I supposed to build a business from the ground up? Because Beachbody, as you saw in that video, has laid the foundation for you. You don't even have to figure out your taxes. Like, they do it, like they just send you what you have to file. Like, it's that stinking simple for you. And you get to serve people by just reaching out to them and getting to know them. And, you authentically seek a need. And if they have one, you get to satisfy it. And you are serving people, and you are able to change people's lives. Selling a cell phone to somebody might help them get in touch with a long lost relative, right? But I wasn't changing lives at AT&T. I was,
Yeah.
Now I get to really change people's lives. Because when we're working with people on their health and fitness, it's never just about their clothes or a number on the scale or eating more vegetables. It's about 100% your mindset. And you get to live life with them, because it gets really deep, and not everybody's going to dig in that deep with you, but you're still impacting their life by helping them. And you get to share more than just a product with them. You get to share what has made a difference in your life and why you're still here consistently. And it is work. That's why you hear a lot of us reading personal development, and a lot of us, it does take courage to reach out to people, to post and to share your story, and making friends with strangers and wondering if they think it's weird that you don't know them and you friended them and now you're talking to them, and it takes a lot of realizing what wounds you have and where you have insecurities. That's definitely been it for me. Digging into personal development, digging into the team, and figuring out what you have to offer so that you can be present to those people, and you can say, what's going on? How can I help you? What do you need? And that's hard work, and it takes courage. And then you reap the benefit of getting paid for it. And just like my husband is a youth minister and he does ministry, he gets paid for his work, right? So to me, this is a ministry. This is my ministry. And when I equip somebody with something that's going to change their lives, and it's going to benefit not only their health, but the way their family life goes, the way they perform in their job, the way for some people I work with, their fertility health is affected. I get to reap a little bit of that benefit by making a 25% commission off of that. Or when I start, helping my coaches build their own business and find their own mission and seek other people to serve, then I can reap the benefit of helping them, working with them to help them excel in their business as well. And that's not icky sales. It's just, there's so much more to it than just telling somebody to buy something,
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think that that's the key. Sales is not bad. If you think about it, you have to sell your kid to eat their vegetables at dinner, but it's like choosing what you're presenting to people as a solution versus just, when I worked in retail for clothing store, it was like, how many credit cards could you people to sign up? And I remember at one point having a moral conflict. I'm like, I don't want to put people into debt. This does not feel right, but you had to do so many a day. And it's like, this is icky, So I love how you shared that. And I love how you found that mission and that ability to help your family through this. It's been really cool to see. So we are kind of coming on an hour. So I'm going to recap a little bit of what we've talked about, because we don't want to keep everybody too long, but y'all, thank you for sharing so much. It's just so good. And I could sit on these calls all night. So but what I want to share with you are 2 quick graphics, and then your coach has access to these. So after this call, whether you're on a scale of 1 to 5, like 5, like get me in now, or 1, like, oh gosh, that sounds awesome, but I still have all of these concerns. We are here to meet your need, just like Megan said, like what is your need? So they have these graphics I'm about to share with you, and they can talk to you through those details. They can hop on a call with you. I can hop on the call with them with you, whatever you need to make the best decision. But I think that the next thing I'm going to share might help you a lot with just understanding kind of the opportunity itself and the options you have. So not all of us, as you could tell, signed up. Like Sarah had signed up originally for the discount. And if you're a military person or have family who's military, the beauty of that is actually when you sign up as a coach and you're military, all of your fees are waived. It's a great way that Beachbody honors our military. Elizabeth got into this and was like, no, I need to coach. Like she was like ready, you know what I mean? But even then she talks about how she had to walk a little while before she figured out what ready meant. And when Megan had started, like she was looking for something and kind of the same thing. And I talked about how, you know, when I first signed up, I told my coach, we have 5 kids. My husband works for a nonprofit. I just need to save money. I will never sell to anybody. Maybe I'll help one person. But that was really to make me feel better because I felt kind of guilty about spending money on myself. But then after my first challenge group, which was 90 days, I thought if I could help, gosh, like 1 or 2 people and cover my costs, but even more so feel like I feel. And I walked these paths that I have before you right now. A discount coach is someone who uses the products and loves them. You want to get the 25% off. You're going to be using these for life because you love them. You know, you love being a part of our challenge group community. And as a discount coach, you just get to be a part of the team culture. You can help with planning and suggestions of things that we do in our groups and kind of be a leader, not like a technical leader where you have responsibility, but more just an encourager in the groups, which I'm guessing if you're here and that's an interest, you already are. You want insider accesses to new releases and products, abilities to go to events like Summit or these trips that we've talked about, team retreats that we hold. You don't want to lead your own group, but you want to be a little more than a challenger. Path 2 is a hobby coach, which a lot of us, it's like, you know, I was the discount and then I stepped over to hobby. I used and loved the products, sharing the programs and results publicly. So maybe you're talking a little bit on social media about like your workout that day, you know, sharing a healthy meal that you found out, interested in making a small commission by a family or maybe referrals from a friend. You'd like to learn about the business, but you love your job or whatever you do full time, which if you're a mom, we're all full time. But you know, maybe you want to earn enough to help 2 or 3 people like the video talked about to cover your Shakeology so you can take that stress off your budget if it is, but you're not like wanting to go into this full time. Path 3, I stepped over into that. Uses and loves the products, loves the community and wants to help lead and build the group. So we have coaches that are kind of community builders that help us and they post in the challenge groups, come with the content. You realize the income potential and you love the idea of a little side hustle that helps with health and fitness, like $200 a month to be able to eat healthier in your grocery budget. $100 a month to pay for a babysitter a couple nights so you can go grab a cup of coffee with your husband. Saving up for a family vacation. Like Carl Deichler talked about it. I almost called him Carl like he's my BFF, but he talked about it in the video. You know what I mean? Like what could $250 do for you or $500 a month? Like that is very possible. And for a season, that was what I first started, like when I really started working this business because my husband was gone multiple weekends doing retreats because he worked for a nonprofit. So he did retreats and speaking for like his own side hustle. He was gone 3 months straight every single weekend. And I was home with 5 kids. And I thought if I could make $500 a month, he could be home. So that was being a community builder. And then legacy builder is when you use and love the products, you share your journey daily. You not only want to lead challenge groups, but you want to build a team. You know, you want to help others find their mission. You want to earn trips and go all in with coaching. You see the potential to build residual income and financial freedom. And that's still not a 40-hour-a-week job. Every single one of these positions has kind of, you know, a time frame. We tell coaches when they first start out 30 minutes a day if you're trying to build a little bit of a wiggle room budget, you know, residual income, $250 to $500, 30 minutes a day, totally sufficient. You want to do more than that, you need to maybe commit an hour a day. If you want to start to part-time to full-time, 1 to 2 hours. But if you worked 20 hours a week down the road and you made 6 figures, which many of my friends in this company have done, would that be bad? Like, I don't know many people that could do that. You know what I'm saying? So, but you get to define winning for you, and you can go from path 1 to path 3 to path 4 to path 2 in your season. We have moms who just have babies and they step back for a little while because of their season, and then they step back in. There's no pressure, there's no overhead, there's no like you have to do this, but the tools are there for either any of these paths. And your coach's job, our team's job, is to help you in whatever your path is. When my husband wanted to go back into the schools, I had an income I had to make for him to be able to step back into being a principal, and I was able to reach that. And when he said yes to that principal job, it was so fulfilling for me as a mom with 6 at the time to feel like I was able to give my husband the opportunity to say yes. And now we have another goal we're working to for other things. And it's not like me saving my family or necessarily even retiring my husband, but it's creating more options for us as my kids get older. So these are the options of things that you are able to do. Just to recap, and this is something that your coach can send to you. Oh, wait, where'd it go? It didn't go to the right one. Can y'all see the nutshell one? Okay, sweet. Beachbody is an international company that's well known. You've been using the products. We get 25% commission on sales. If you build a team, you get cycle bonuses, which is something that's more complicated for me in a sense to explain right now, but there's training available to teach it to you when you become a coach. You get 25% off. You get first access, like Morning Meltdowns coming out in July, and we as coaches get exclusive open access to programs when they first release. Unlimited access to monthly trainings. We have trainings every Monday from corporate. We run training calls every week as a team. We get upline sponsorship for you when you hit different levels in the business to get more training according to what you need. Coach mentorship, like from your coach with struggles, issues that you have. A huge support system from our whole community as a team. There's no pressure. There's no requirement to stay active as a coach. If you are regularly using Shakeology or the Performance Line, you stay active as a coach. You do have a $15.95 fee a month to stay active as a coach. That is what we pay Beachbody to handle our shipping and our customer service, and they upkeep our website. We don't have to do home parties, which, although I am a social person, I would not want to have to host a home party every week or every month. That's a little overwhelming to sound for me. So I'm glad that we don't have to do that, although we do have get-togethers to build community. But we do a lot of our work online, although some people do it face-to-face. You get to decide how you want to connect with people. How do you get started? It's a $40 fee to sign up as a coach. If you have already purchased a challenge pack, you pay the $40 and then you fill out a form and you are refunded the $40 because you've already invested in the tools that you need, which is Beachbody On Demand and Shakeology or the Performance Line. The number one factor is we want to be a product of what we're offering people, but those products change for people. For some of it's Beachbody On Demand and Shakeology. For some people, it's using Hydrate and Energize and Recover. It's just depending on the products that support your journey, but we get to help people with whatever fits their need. If you're signing up and you haven't purchased a challenge pack, when you purchase a challenge pack, they waive the fee, which is an awesome thing. So you don't have to pay the $40 at all. So you don't have to stockpile Shakeology or Energize in your house unless you have lots of kids like some of us and you stockpile it for them. You get unlimited access to training, 25% discount on all programs and all products except for Beachbody On Demand because it already is crazy cheap. So but you get that for $99 a year. 25% commission on all sales, and even some things there is a greater commission for. We also expanded to the UK and Canada. We continue to expand internationally, which is pretty cool. And there's no contract. So if you start to do this and you get into this a few months and you're like, I don't know, this isn't for me, then you can step away and just continue to be a challenger. And there's no like hard feelings or hurt feelings. And there's no penalty. Our hope tonight is that you came here and you got a nugget of what you needed to decide whether or not this opportunity is for you. The mission of this team is not just my mission, it is our mission. That's why we are a family. And if you feel called to be a part of this, we would be honored to walk with you in that. So we want to just thank you for being here tonight. We want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this recording. I want to thank all the coaches who spoke tonight. You know, we could literally talk about this all day long, so you should join our team and just come to Summit and we could do that. But, you know, this is, you. If you've been on our Challenger Zooms on Sunday, that's a snippet of what we get to do as a team. And so we're just grateful for you to be here. I'm going to close this in a very quick prayer, and then I'm going to close this out because I know this has been a longer, not really a long call, about an hour, but still it's your time and we want to honor that. So let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for everyone that's here tonight. I am so grateful for Sarah and Elizabeth and Megan sharing their story, Lord, and I'm grateful for this opportunity that you have given us. I'm thankful for Carl Deichler's vision. I'm thankful for the way he created this opportunity so that we could partner with Beachbody to help men and women find that freedom, find that purpose, find that way to discover what you have called them to in their life, and how we can partner with this mission of this company to help other people live a healthy and fulfilling life. Lord, I pray for everyone who's listening to this call as they discern, that you would put to ease nervousness and fear and worry, and give them clarity of the questions that you want them to ask and the path that you want them to take, and help us to be good guides and good mentors and good leaders that walk with them and help them in making that decision of what's best for them. And I'm just grateful for those who will say yes, who will help us to further our mission this month and for the months to come, and for the opportunity to serve together. It's such a great mission, and we're so thankful for it. And we pray all these things in your most holy name. Amen. All right, guys, thanks so much. Have an amazing night. Take care.